What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Pizza Bones. You're going to eat that crust production, proud members of the You Run Podcast Network. You can find all their shows and all our shows on yourunpodcast.com. So go there and give them all a listen. I am your host, Greg Hoey, and with me is my co-host, Nate Harvey for Pizza Bones. How you doing, Nate?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me back. This is great.
Of course, we're going to dive into some true crime, get a little bloody.
Nice.
This is a comedy podcast, so, we're going to have some fun. We're not going to offend the victims, but, we will have a little bit of fun with it. Today we are covering Isreal Keyes, nomadic serial killer, also known as the NuMetal killer. Nate, I know you love the NuMetal. What are some of the NuMetal bands you love?
So I was a huge Slipknot fan, Korn, Limp Bizkit, obviously.
Limp Bizkit!
POD, System of a Down. Yeah.
Is System of a Down NuMetal?
I put them in that zone.
I guess, yeah, they get a little rap towards them, I guess.
Yeah.
They're no Crazy Town.
Crazy Town. So, yeah, I never really got into Crazy Town that much, but the rest of those bands for sure. Yeah. Well, so why did they call him the NuMetal killer? Or am I already jumping the gun?
No, just because he was obsessed with NuMetal bands. Like, okay. The media didn't call him the NuMetal killer, but, that's what we're calling him.
Do we know what his favorite NuMetal band was?
He loved Cold Chamber. He loved Slipknot. He was definitely more into, like, the theatrical NuMetal bands.
I used to love Cold Chamber.
I don't even know if I know what Cold Chamber is.
Oh, it's so good. So I think I was in like third grade. We had to play our favorite band in music class. So I played Cold Chamber, and I forgot that it said, "I'm going to circumcise you" at the end of it.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that was an awkward moment, and the teacher never let me play music ever again.
It's like the time I played Dark City in graphics trade class, and I wasn't allowed to play movies anymore.
You're cut off.
Yeah. So today we are covering Isreal Keyes. Like I said, he's from Washington State in Alaska in about 1996 to, I think, in 2012. Killed at least 4 people, but the FBI thinks potentially that the body count is closer to 11.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're familiar with Robert Hansen, but he's almost like a Robert Hansen meets BTK. Robert Hansen was also from Alaska. He would like hunt his victims. He's a fucking nerd-looking motherfucker.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. We'll probably cover Robert Hansen in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know about him, so that'll be a good one.
Yes, it's going to be a great experience for you. Isreal Keyes was kind of a fanboy to serial killers. Like, he was obsessed with Ted Bundy and BTK. Not just their killing style, just the fact they were able to live a double life.
Yep.
Which is insane to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, like BTK, the police never suspected him. And they probably would have never suspected him if he didn't reach out to the media or reach out to the victims, which we'll get more into. But yeah, like I said, he's the NuMetal killer. Loved Cold Chamber, loved Slipknot. We love Limp Bizkit. We love Crazy Town. Isreal Keyes was born January 7th, 1979 in Richmond, Utah. Born to Heidi Hawkinson and Jonathan Keyes.
Mm.
His parents were very culty. They were into like super cult religions. He was born as a Mormon, living in Utah, of course. That's where all the Mormons
go figure.
Yeah, right.
He must have been one of the only ones, I swear.
Yeah, they must have started it.
Yeah, very unique guy he is.
Yeah. So they were living in a cabin with no electricity, no running water outside of Colville, Washington. Just basically living off the grid.
How long did he live like that? Like his whole childhood, or
like from later? 5? Yeah, he like around 5. They were living like that. Probably till like 12, 13, I believe.
Wow.
His parents were in a fundamentalist Christian identity group known as the Ark, which sounds insane. I don't know if you know anything about the Ark, but it has all sorts of things to do with Jewish people. They don't think Jewish people are real, and white people, the real Jewish people, they were chosen by God. It's pretty insane.
And his name is Isreal.
Exactly. Well, he was taking it back kind of for the white men, basically.
Yeah.
Old Testament scripture, basically just uber religious and very culty.
Okay.
And Heidi would always switch religions. It was like they were playing musical chairs with religion. Yeah, and one of the cults they were in, they lived right by Chevy and Shane Keyes.Join. In 1995, the white supremacist Keyes.Join murdered a family of 3 and dumped them in a swamp, like basically right down the street.
Oh
They
wow.
were pro white nationalists.
Mm-hmm.
Were tied into Timothy McVeigh, and I don't know if you know anything about Timothy McVeigh, but
He's
he's
the
part of the
bomber, right?
Oklahoma
Yep.
City bombing. Had a very aggressive childhood dealing with cult, churches, and white supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
He was homeschooled. They're saying the lack of socialization had a huge impact on him. And obviously not talking shit about people who are homeschooled, because Keyes was just a special case. It's obviously nature versus nurture. It always plays a big role in serial killers. Nature was a very big part for Isreal as he was, growing up in like the chaos of cults and white supremacy. Even
Yeah.
though he basically doesn't talk a lot about white supremacy, he says he was kind of above that.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, he kind of grew up feeling superior to other human beings.
Yeah.
But as far as we know, he had a pretty good childhood. Other than that crazy cult stuff, he wasn't abused, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Put the cult stuff aside.
Yeah,
Other than that, he lived a life.
yeah. Around like the age of 14, he would always carry around a handgun, and him and his best friend would like go around the neighborhoods, burglarize homes.
At 14.
Yes, at 14. Which, when I was 13 or 14, I was definitely going around vandalizing and doing stupid shit, because that's what stupid kids do. But I wasn't, brandishing a gun and like breaking into people's houses. I was more like putting like bologna on people's cars or like egging houses, which is horrible as well.
Does that really take the paint off of cars? Is that a myth, or is that
real?
real?
Oh yeah, no, it definitely does.
Oh,
we fucked up some shit.
Oh,
so if any of my neighbors are listening, it wasn't me.
No.
So he had like a little crew. He was kind of the leader of the crew. His sister had a cat, and the cat would always get in the garbage. And he basically told the sister, like, look, if this cat gets in the garbage one more time, I'm going to kill this cat, which is extremely fucked up to say.
Yeah.
So, of course, the cat gets in the garbage. Sure enough, he grabbed the cat, marched into the woods with his buddy and a couple of his sisters, and he ties this cat to a tree, and he shoots it in the stomach and, like, watches it, like, run around the tree. Yeah, like, fucking sicko.
Yeah.
A lot of serial killers start with animal abuse when they're younger.
Right.
It's disgusting. Of course, his friend never really wanted to go in the woods with him anymore. His friend was completely disgusted. He threw up on the scene.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Big time falling out. Or big time falling out. And at the age of 17, he began to rebel, declaring himself an atheist to his fundamentalist parents.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of know that. When I was younger, I was like a raging atheist. My parents weren't like super religious, but sometimes it goes to the extreme.
Yeah, for sure.
He was also an anti-vaxxer.
Mm-hmm.
His parents kicked him out because he was like rebelling against them.
Okay.
And they moved to join the Amish country in Maine.
Does Maine have a big Amish population?
I guess so. I don't know. I mean, it makes sense. Maine is very there's a lot of
very minimalistic and earthy, but yeah, I don't know. I've never thought of Maine as a Amish country.
I mean, one might say it's Amish paradise.
Oh, that's right.
Oh
yeah.
I guess that Amish people can't have zippers.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
So they only have buttons.
Yeah, only have buttons.
Huh. That's a new one.
So they think when he was kicked out, he may have committed his first murder. They don't know. A lot of the times, killers aren't proud of their first murder, whether it be like a kid, just someone they took advantage of and they're not like proud of doing. Like, I mean, obviously, you should never be proud of killing anybody.
Now, was his first murder because he was so upset that he couldn't have a zipper anymore? And he just
that could be it.
He just flew off the handle. He's like, "What do you mean I can't have a fly anymore?" And then just went off and killed someone.
It drove him. That was the deciding factor. It drove him over the edge.
Yeah, that would make me go nuts if that was the case.
Yeah, of course. It's Velcro or bust for me.
Yeah.
May 3rd, 1996, a 12-year-old Special Olympian champion who competed in the prosthetics division disappeared after leaving her house. Her prosthetics legs were found at the mouth of the Colville River, and a month later, her body would be discovered by kids, which is fucking horrifying.
Yeah, screwed them up for life.
Yeah. They came across her remains in a wooded area.
Wow.
They just think that because in 1996, he was, 18 and living outside of Colville, Washington.
Right. It would track. It would make sense.
Yeah, he admitted to raping a girl who was tubing down the Deschutes River near Oregon. He claimed it was his first violent sexual act. Especially if it's kids. They don't like to admit to killing kids. They're
Right.
just not as proud as the,
Mm-hmm.
In 1998, Keyes enlisted in the Army,
Okay.
and his military time was uneventful. He didn't have a lot of anti-American beliefs, like
Mm-hmm.
basically took Rage Against the Machine literal. He joined the machine to fight against the machine.
We didn't even bring up Rage Against the Machine before. We were slacking.
I don't
I
think
don't. I don't really consider them NuMetal though. So
Yeah, I could consider them good,
just amazing.
talented.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but saying that, obviously, System of a Down and a lot of those bands are really talented.
Yes.
Slipknot. People love Slipknot, so
Yeah.
we're not aligning these or maligning these groups. It's just a piece of shit. Basically, it sounds like he joined the army to piss off his parents.
Mm-hmm.
In 1998 in Fort Lewis, he joined a singles chat line, and it was basically like a thing where you would like leave a greeting.
Mm-hmm.
And people would listen to your greeting. If they liked it, they would leave a message back. He ended up screwing up his greeting, and a girl named Tammy Hawkins found it hilarious. She thought it was cute, so she responded to him. They went on a little date. They went for a little drive. They both love NuMetal. They both love Rob Zombie films.
Yeah.
They went for that tracks. They went for a drive, dinner at Applebee's, and a movie after.
Oh yeah. Probably House of a Thousand Corpses or
potentially. I don't know if that's 2001.
I don't know what year. What year are we talking again?
We're talking 1998.
Ooh, 98. Yeah, I don't know.
I want to say Rob Zombie started popping up in like early 2000s, but I could be wrong.
I think you're right.
Wrong.
That sounds closer. Yeah. Just trying to think of that like NuMetal movie they could have went to go see.
Yeah, the NuMetal movie. They went to go see heavy metal. But so after that, they started dating, and after Isreal was deployed in the field, Tammy found out that she was pregnant. So basically, Isreal came clean and admitted that he had a 19-year-old fiance back in Colville.
Yep.
So he broke it off with her and got an honorable discharge from the Army, and he married Tammy Hawkins. Right from the start, Tammy said he was kind of a control freak. He was basically a extreme alcoholic, a functioning alcoholic. He would drink like a handle of liquor, a bottle of wine, and a 6-pack all in one night.
Oh, God.
So basically a high-functioning alcoholic.
Yep. Gross.
Yep, basically. 2001, they moved into a rental house.
You skipped 1999. Did he go to Woodstock? That's Limp Bizkit.
I guess.
Limp Bizkit was there, so...
Limp Bizkit was there. I don't think he... I don't have any information saying he was in Woodstock 99, but
damn,
I'm sure if he was, he probably drank from the shit fountain.
Yes, he did.
That's a whole nightmare in itself.
It is. It is. All right, continue.
So, 2001, they moved into a rental house on the Maca Reservation because Tammy was part of the tribe.
Mm-hmm.
She was a Native American. So he got a job at the Parks and Rec Department on the reservation.
Okay.
Tammy's job required her to travel quite a bit, so Isreal was spending a lot of time alone. At this time, she noticed a change in him.
Mm-hmm.
He started listening to exclusively NuMetal. That's it. No more Ace of Base, no more pop songs. He occasionally would enjoy a pop song. Not anymore. He was Limp Bizkit till the day he died.
Damn.
Can you blame him?
Not really. No.
When Fred Durst gets a grip on you, it's trouble.
You can't shake that off.
You cannot.
You can't. We were all Yankees fans during that whole period of time, and I never watched one game.
Wait. No.
Yeah,
Edit
right.
that.
I wasn't.
No, we're not Yankees fans here.
We might have had a hat though. We may have had a hat.
Fuck the Yankees and fuck red hats.
That's right.
So he also started an online poker account with the name Blackheart.
Ooh, he sounds a little more emo now.
Yeah, he's getting a little emo.
Yeah.
Emo metal. He tatted his chest with an upside down cross and a pentagram on the base of his neck.
Yeah, as you should if this is your world.
How many pentagrams you got on your body?
I keep it below the neckline though. I don't want to just flaunt that in front of everyone.
I don't know. I feel like you could pull off a neck tattoo.
Maybe my mom would kill me.
How does she feel about all your other tattoos?
I think she just ignores it.
Okay.
She's like, you have a zombie tattoo on your arm. What are you doing? Ugh. I do remember coming home with my first tattoo. That didn't go so well.
Uh-oh.
Oh, well. It wasn't a pentagram.
Yeah. It might as well have been. I remember coming home and telling my parents I wanted to get a tattoo. And at 44, I still don't have one.
I was going to say, you don't even have any.
I know.
Jeez.
I was going to get the Tool opiate symbol with the two hands crossing. I was going to get it on my forearm. And then when I went through my juggalo phase, edit that out, I almost got a juggalo tattoo on my calf.
That should actually be in the opening monologue here.
I can't mix that up. That's Ryan. That's for Ryan to do.
Perfect. Ryan knows what to do with that info.
So when he got out of the military,
life.
Yeah. So when he got out of the military in 2001, he had the urge to kill.
Yeah. Okay.
And he only has 4 confirmed kills that we know about. But like journals and drawings on a cell wall would later lead cops to think that he had at least 6, potentially up to 11, because in his cell he drew 11 skulls and wrote under them, "We are one."
We are one,
which is very emo.
Yeah,
and very NuMetal.
It feels very, very in that world for sure.
The FBI to this day is still looking into the 7 other murders. I want to say that your wife Megan had mentioned that they were potentially cracking some stuff in Vermont, because with the Vermont killing we'll discuss in a little bit.
Yeah, that would track, and she knows way more than I know on this subject.
Soon to be featuring Megan Harvey on Pizza Bones.
Although she didn't know when I said the NuMetal killer, she's like, "Who's that?" I'm like,
I don't know if last podcast just branded them that, but we love it, so we had to go with it. For sure. He was not being very cooperative with investigators. He was given peanut butter Snickers bars and Americanos and cigars.
To
basically get some confessions out of him.
I thought that whole thing was pretty interesting. How they tried to get the info out of him and whatnot, and
it's crazy. Like that video sent me today about something, I forgot what they're called, but the Disciples, the Mount Vernon killing right down your street, which happened in 2009, and we will cover, and it's fucking brutal. He had to have known he was fucked.
Yeah, totally.
But when you're a kid, your brain's not developed, and hell, my brain's not developed. I don't know what I'm talking about.
We'll get there. This time.
One day I'll get there, But so in February 2004, Keyes rented a car in Utah and kept it for 7 days.
You skipped 2003 here. Anything crazy happened in 2003 with him?
Voices from the Mausoleum is your one-stop shop for everything horror. Join host Scott and Angel as they deep dive into all things horror, from movies, TV shows, books, and video games. Nobody is safe. Batten down the hatches, lock your doors, and listen to Voices from the Mausoleum, another podcast brought to you by the You Run Podcast Network.
Not that I know of. I mean, potentially. Maybe we'll be going back and see that. Anything you know of?
So what I know about 2003 is Cold Chamber broke up.
Oh shit! Did this start it?
This could be like just starting to boil through his bloodline right here. He's like, Cold Chamber, it's no more. What will I do? Let me kill people. I will go loco on them. Loco is a Cold Chamber song.
Oh, really? Nice. Yep. They broke up on stage, correct?
Yeah, they did at one time. Yeah, I don't know if this is that moment, but they disbanded in 2003. I do know that.
Oh shit!
Only to come back in 2011.
Oh shit! And then break up again.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, we don't know if they're still together.
I'm not sure. I
fell out of the Cold Chamber. Okay.
I should have.
They could have been replaced by From Here Down, but
they could have.
You guys had the chops.
But not Spotify to back us up.
Oh, just imagine. So, February 2004, Keyes rented a car in Utah and kept it for 7 days, putting 525 miles on the vehicle.
That's quite a lot of miles.
It is. It's like it's like me. I fucking drive a lot.
Mm-hmm. You kill anybody?
Just on the stage,
No.
I'm just murdering crowds.
Slaying people with the mic. Every Friday and Saturday.
That's it. But they actually really don't know if he committed a murder during this trip. Mm-hmm. It just does fit his MO.
Correct.
Because he basically, would rent a car and drive a lot.
Mhm.
Also, he never really murdered a victim close to home until the last one that gets him caught, which we'll discuss. Not to jump the
Right.
gun.
Calm yourself down.
So that's what he would do. He would basically rent a car and kind of abduct people, drive them to another state. Well, he would rent a car in another state, drive to another state, abduct a person, drive them to another state, kill them, go bury them in another state. Like, he was all over the place.
And he also had like kill kits, correct?
Yes, kill kits. Yes. I don't know when he started doing the kill kits. We'll get to that. But he eventually started putting kill kits all over the country.
Mhm.
And they would have like guns and wire and flashlights and rope and Drano and anything he would need, and he would bury them around. I want to say that they found 2 kits to this day, one in Vermont and one in New York.
Okay.
But we'll get back to that.
I mean, just that aspect alone is just so interesting as far as, if you were a truck driver, think of the possibilities,
I don't know if you know much about the West Memphis 3.
Nope.
That's a case you should look up. It's a brutal case. It's these 3 goth kids that got falsely accused of murdering these children in like the most horrific way ever. It was brutal. They weren't Satan worshipers. They were just metal kids, and they were goth kids before goth kids were goth kids. And they basically got like framed for this murder. They did like 20 plus years. It's crazy.
Damn.
But long story short, it happened around a truck stop. So they're thinking like a trucker might have done it, but he got away whoever did it got away scot-free.
Right. They just botch it.
They botched it, and they to this day, like, they're out, but the state like basically made him sign something. Some dude was on death row, and one of the other kids was like, listen, I'm not going to admit it because I didn't do it. But like, one of the other kids was on death row, so he basically had to take a plea bargain to help his friend not die. And they're out now, but they did like 20 plus years. And one of the kids was very slow, and the cops kind of got him to do like a false
they just
admission.
kind of preyed on that.
Yeah, it's close to the Central Park 5, where it's like, man, I'm gonna say it. Fuck the police. So fuck this judicial system. It's insane.
It really is. Yeah. Ugh. Sickening.
So he would always he'd like to dispose of some bodies in the Crescent Lake in Washington. He would tie weights to them. So weirdly, at this time, his relationship with Tammy is falling apart. Tammy's became addicted to opioids. So Isreal moved out with his daughter.
Yeah.
And then he met Kimberly Anderson on Match.com.
Ooh.
That's the thing about serial killers, man. They're dating like motherfuckers. What the fuck? Like, they're getting all these ladies. That's why I tell some of my friends, like, well, serial killers can date, so,
So you're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance. So they started dating. She was offered a job in Anchorage, Alaska, and asked Keyes to come along. So in 2007, Isreal Keyes moves to Alaska. There he started his construction business, Keyes Construction.
Oh, give us construction, guys. Bad names.
That's like very, actually, I don't think, he was a construction worker in Dexter, the John Lithgow. Well, he wasn't a construction worker, but he would build houses, and then he would kill people and cement their bodies. It was the whole thing. So he started his construction business, Keyes Construction. Halloween 2008, he flew to Seattle, rented a PT Cruiser.
Nice. The finest car out there.
The best car out there. Wood panels.
Oh, you can't have one without it.
Wood on your car. He drove south as far as Arizona. And the FBI thinks he committed a murder there. They can't prove it, but he bought a fishing license in Wyoming. And he would often tie these things together where he would fish, get rid of bodies. He was always pairing up these activities.
Now, would he dispose of bodies fully, or would he chop them up and
he would
parts?
Chop them up. He would chop them up and get rid of them, and piece by piece. Like if he went to a lake, he would take the torso and the arms, and the head and the legs. He would come back and do multiple trips.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, around this time, he started hiding his kill kits.
Nice.
In different states around the country. You're good, dude. 5-gallon plastic buckets, money, knives, rope, guns, wires, and flashlights for use in future murders. And to this day, 2 kill kits have been found, one in Vermont and one in New York, like I said. Imagine that. Imagine a kid coming across a kill kit.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be horrified by all that money. You'd be like, shit,
yeah. I'd be so psyched. Be like, oh my God, there's like $500 in here. And a gun.
Right?
And some Drano.
Yeah.
Why not?
So April 9th, 2009, he was thought to have used this first kill kit in New York on a woman he abducted from New Jersey named Deborah Feldman. No relation to Corey Feldman.
Okay. All right.
She's more of a bass player. She
Got
was from New Jersey, and she was last seen on April 8th when Keyes was known to be in the area. Keyes did admit to taking a woman on the 9th and bringing her to New York, where he buried her.
Mm-hmm.
Where he buried her near Tucker Lake. You might be wondering, how did Isreal Keyes pay for all this stuff? Flights,
How did he
rental
pay
cars,
for all that?
and all the hotels and traveling? Do you know why? How?
I do know. He was a bank robber.
He was a bank robber. That's fucking crazy to me. Okay? Like,
Yeah.
That's so fucking ballsy. To be fucking killing people anyway. It's fucking horrible. But then you're like taking the chance to robbing a bank too. It just
At the same time. It's
yeah.
like, I got someone in my car with me. I'm just going to rob this bank real quick. Then I'm going to murder you. Then I'm going to go rob another bank. Like,
and he would do shit like start a fire and let the cops would go across town, and then he would like walk into the bank and then rob the bank like that. He would always smoke a cigar in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's just nuts. Like he claimed to rob several banks, but it's definitely a known fact that he robbed one on April 10th, 2009, the day after he most likely murdered Deborah Feldman.
Okay.
So he basically called it like his cherry on top.
Mm-hmm. The reward for killing,
So April 2010, he robbed the community bank in Tucker Lake, New York. Like I said, he would research small towns with multiple routes of escape, choose a bank, smoke a cigar in the parking lot, and then go in there and tell everybody to, get on the ground, do your typical bank robber shit.
Yeah.
Tucker Lake Bank, you know how much he walked away with?
$4,000.
$10,000.
Not bad. But does it have the little ink in it that explodes and then he can't use it?
Probably. I'm guessing so. Because I want to say when they found him later on, they found money that was marked up.
Yeah. Okay.
So he also pasted on a beard, and it looks like real hair.
Real hair, right?
Yep. Kind of known as a silly Van Dyke. So when he was in interrogation, he was shown stills of the bank robber, and he was asked if it was real hair, and if so, where did he get it? He said, I quote, "You don't have to buy real hair. Hair is free. You just need to know where to get it."
Oh God.
Fucking
creepy
disturbing motherfucker.
Yeah. That's what just makes you wonder like how big this body count really could be.
Exactly.
I don't want to give him props, but I got to give the guy props.
No, I mean, he's very meticulous and he's very patient, and he strikes randomly. So it's I know a lot of people in the media were calling him a mastermind. Like the guys on Last Pyro were like, he's not the Riddler,
Right.
But I mean, it is smart to do it that way. I just don't know how we got away with all this shit, even in the 90s. But like the 2000s, I guess that's in the 90s is more when they got the DNA shit going and
right.
But, the OJ stuff.
But I mean, what, he got caught in 2011, 2012?
2012. I think he got caught. Yeah, no, he got caught in 2012, I believe.
So, I mean, cameras are a thing. Technology is there at that point. It's
100%.
It takes a lot, I feel like, during that time to do what he did.
Yeah. So after the robbery, Keyes checked into the Handy Suites Hotel in Essex, Vermont. Right down the street from your Beetlejuice shoot.
Oh, yes. He should have said Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice and save him.
Yeah. So I also got to say, like, my friend Lionel and I were, like, snowboarding in Vermont around this time. I could have crossed paths with Isreal Keyes. He could have killed me.
See,
sometimes I did.
So that makes me wonder the most. Like, so I toured in bands. 2011, I played Warped Tour. Like,
yep.
I was all over the place.
Well, it's kind of disturbing. If you're touring with NuMetal bands, he's probably following you the whole time.
Well, the good news, I was doing pop punk, so I was in the safe crowd.
Yeah.
But if he was listening to my iPod, shit.
Get him. So he stayed in Essex, Vermont at the Handy Suites Hotel for 4 days. He buried a kill kit there. On April 14th, he took a flight back to Alaska. And he had another time. Around that time, he had another kid with Kimberly Anderson.
Oh, he had 2 kids. Okay.
Yep.
I didn't realize that. Nice.
And I don't know that he was in both of their lives. Because
Okay.
it seems like, from all the information I got, it seems like he only cared about one kid.
Yes. Right. That's was my understanding as well. So, okay.
And when we get into the later killings, like, it just makes you even more sick because he had a
Yes.
fucking daughter. And, like, I don't know how you could murder anyone anyway, but to have a fucking daughter and care for a daughter and murder feet, like, it's just so fucked up. Not that murdering a dude would be any better. It's just horrific.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So he decided to kind of take a break from the lower 48.
Mm-hmm.
In April 2011, he made a homemade silencer. I have homemade silencer. April 2011, he had a homemade silencer, which he bought from, or he made from parts from Home Depot.
Mm-hmm.
He also wanted to try something closer to home. So he went to a park in Anchorage to try to test out his silencer, and he was about to kill a couple. He had like a little sniper's nest. He's getting ready to fucking snipe these people, and a cop kind of pulled up and like, hey, move along, people, move along. So they just kind of got away. So I wonder who that couple was. They were like, they probably have no fucking clue.
Right. How lucky they really are.
Right.
Damn.
And that was all just to test out his silencer, where he could have just like, shot a target, but he wanted to, he wanted this target to bleed.
It's not the same thing.
His next plan was to kill a kayaker. So he put a kill kit next to the North Fork trailhead in Eagle River in Alaska and kind of like just waited and staked out, and nobody showed up. So he kind of had to cancel his plans.
Jeez. Yeah. Now, would you shoot them while they just kayak past? Just pop?
Yeah, or abduct them. Like, so he said, and it's funny, well, it's not funny, but we're coming up to the kill where he did use a gun. He claims like to only have used the gun once.
Okay.
And the reason he used it, and we're about to get to.
We're going to Vermont?
Yeah, we're going to Vermont.
Nice.
Bill and Lorraine Courier.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So Keyes flew out of Ted Stevens International Airport in Anchorage, and he flew back to Essex, where he had left his kill kit after the supposed murder of Deborah Feldman. Again, no relation to Corey. I have that in parentheses. Sorry, Deborah. So he checked into the same Handy Suites motel where he stayed 3 days earlier. He went out and got a 3-day fishing license for Lake Champlain. After he was done fishing, he headed back to his kill kit for some zip ties, a gun, a headlamp, and then he headed back to Essex. But before he went fishing, he was driving around Essex, like looking for a good place he could bring a victim.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't, he wanted to choose a victim and bring him to a church like the BTK would. So BTK would like bring his victims to like the church because he was the head of his church. Sick fuck. And he would like pose them in different, on the pews or whatever. They're pews, right?
Yes, yeah.
Pews. Yeah, he would pose them and then like, wrap them up and pack them away. But like BTK did that all the time. So Isreal Keyes' plan was to do that, but then burn the church down.
Oh, interesting.
So he was all about scouting places, and it wasn't necessarily the victim. It was more of like the place that he could kind of get away with it and do his thing.
Mm-hmm.
Opportunistic. He's opportunistic. He eventually settled on an abandoned farmhouse. No relation to the Fish album Farmhouse. I just pulled that out. I just pulled that out of my butt right there.
That was not in parentheses. No.
So he hadn't chosen his victims yet. Like I said, he always waited till like the last second, and he was very meticulous. He's very organized. And he would set everything up before, like he chose his victim. Like farmhouse is set up with all the stuff he needed. Mm-hmm. 8 p.m. June 8th, 2011. He left his motel with his gear and set off to find his victim. He was looking for a man alone with in a car, so we could basically rob a bank the next day with this dude's car.
Okay.
He almost grabbed a guy in a yellow Volkswagen, but it was like raining really hard, and the man like ran inside really fast. So he got frustrated, returned to the motel, and he tried to think of a new plan. Mm-hmm. At midnight, he leaves the hotel, walks about a quarter mile to Colbert Street.
Oh, Colbert Street.
Yep. Not to be confused with Stephen Colbert Street.
No, he doesn't have a street.
He does not.
Yet.
He was looking for a house that had no kids inside. Like it just has a sign, no kids at play.
We actually have a sign up front that says, we have kids, don't kill us. So it's so far so good. It's worked well. I mean, hey, 11 years and counting.
Dude, you be careful in Mount Vernon. I just found out some horrible things in Mount Vernon.
Yeah, it is. It's rough.
Yeah. So basically he wouldn't kill kids. They were off the list, as were dogs. Not that, I mean, he did have dogs, but dogs basically kind of complicated things.
Yeah.
So he would look at, yeah, they do. Quinn would really bark at you really hard. She might attack. She definitely would attack. So basically he would look for houses that look to have older couples with no kids, or kids that are grown and gone.
Okay.
So we found a house, cut the phone line, not so they couldn't call. He was basically trying to see if it would trigger an alarm.
Ah, smart.
Yep. Waited a few minutes to see if the cops would come, and then when nothing happened, he proceeded in. He removed a garage window, just slid right in there, had his headlamp on. You know, if you leave an opening for people to get in, they will get in. So people that are on the first floor and you have like fans in your window, don't do that.
Just don't do it.
Yeah.
That was also in the Mount Vernon murder thing.
Yes. They climbed in the bottom thing. And that's what the skinny kid did there. The kid who he's like, I wasn't even in the house. And they're like, wait a minute, you crawled in the... He's like, yeah, I crawled in.
Ah, shit, that was me. You know, as I'm looking at my AC in my first floor window right now.
It says he checked the registration on the Subaru in the garage and confirmed what he had thought. No kids. I didn't know that it said no kids on your registration.
I don't think it does.
It doesn't. So I don't know how he confirmed that, but he says he checked the registration, checked the glove box. Maybe he just found a note that said, honey, we have no kids.
No kids. What are you doing this weekend?
Yeah. He broke into the house, and he was in the bedroom in seconds. He zip-tied the couple and forced them into their own car. You know, he went through their belongings, grabbed some jewelry, whatever, some personal shit. He told them that he kidnapped them for ransom. And he was not going to kill them if they followed instructions. And so Bill and Lorraine Currier were basically like, we don't have ransom money. Like, we're just normal people. We don't have, you got the wrong people. Like, we got like $100 in our bank account.
No one's going to pay for us.
Yes. So basically after that, he goes back to the motel, grabs a shovel and Drano, and then he heads to the farm. So he brought Bill in first, zip-tied him down to the pitch-black basement, and then he went back for Lorraine and found she had broke loose and was fleeing.
Yikes.
So, yeah, it's like out of a horror movie. So he chased her down, tackled her, and he brought her back inside. He duct taped her to a bed inside on the second floor. And it was about to wrap a rope around her neck when he heard a bunch of commotion in the basement.
Oh, boy. Someone's getting loose?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So Bill had gotten loose and was fumbling around in the dark, like screaming, like, where the fuck is my wife? Where's my wife? And he was looking for a weapon. It's pitch black there, so Keyes went down there in the basement with a shovel and hit Bill over the head. He went back to grab his gun, and he shot Bill 10 times.
10 times.
10 times. He claims it's the only time he shot someone.
A little bit of rage on that one.
Yep. He said he only shot Bill because he lost his temper and Bill was not doing what he was told.
I mean, that makes sense. 10 shots, angry. Yeah.
All right. So he then went upstairs. He gagged Lorraine with paper towels, duct tape. He raped her and strangled her with his bare hands until she passed out.
And they were an older couple, weren't they?
I believe they were in their 50s.
Okay. And he would be in his 20s?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Wait, so he was born in 79.
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
okay.
So he's like late 20s, early 30s.
Okay.
I'm not a math magician. She eventually came to. He brought her to the basement and sat her on a bench. He then strangled her from behind with a rope to make sure she was dead. He put both bodies in a garbage bag, poured Drano in them, and threw them in the corner and just covered them with debris. So they actually never found these bodies. So after he gets caught, they found out that they leveled this farmhouse.
Yeah, didn't they? Yeah, they tore the whole thing down and they said it stunk, but...
Yeah, they said they smelled some bad, but they thought it was like dead cats or dead raccoons or something like that.
Yeah, that's crazy. Imagine that.
Yeah, so after that, he went back to his hotel, grabbed his rental car, and headed to visit his brother in Bangor, Maine.
Oh, good old Bangor, Maine, huh?
Like, that's why it's crazy. He was so fucking close to me going back and forth between Vermont and Bangor, Maine. Like, I would have kicked his ass, though.
I mean, Vermont,
I was in NuMetal as well, too, so.
You guys could have been at the same Disturbed concert.
I was his significant other? No, that doesn't work.
You were his +1.
Yeah.
You guys were singing Nookie and break stuff. And,
Come on, Limp Bizkit.
oh,
Now every time we play Faith, I have to say like Limp Bizkit right before it, even though we do the fucking George Michael version. We do we do George Biscuit or Limp Michael.
Limp Michael.
I like to say it that way because it's funny.
Yeah, it is.
So after Bangor, Maine, he stopped at a national forest and burned a suitcase full of the courier's belongings.
Okay.
And then he returned to Essex to see all the chaos, watching all the police lose their mind about what happened because it's so random. And like, that's what's the scariest thing about a person who's so random. He's not killing in his own town. He's not. BTK was killing in his own town. Like they used like the Wichita Strangler. They just didn't suspect him because he's a fucking churchgoer and a family man, all that shit.
Right.
So we then drove to Chicago and took a flight back to Anchorage.
Right.
And he kind of took a little break.
Okay. That we know of.
In February 1st, 2012 is when he decided to kill again.
Dun, dun, dun.
He chose this night because he had cruise tickets the next day, Louisiana to Mexico.
Yeah, no, that's the most common route. You always go Louisiana, you port out there, and then, yeah.
I've never been on a cruise.
I've never been to Louisiana.
I don't think I've ever been to
cruise.
I've never been to Mexico either. I would love to go to Mexico.
We are missing out all around. Damn.
So the reason he did this is because he figured if he was going to be gone directly after, it would be harder to track.
Oh, yeah. That's perfect.
And this is him thinking, I'm going to kill closer to home now. I don't know if he's getting lazy or if he just wants to get caught. Like, he doesn't have any recognition. Serial killers love recognition. He claimed he didn't want recognition, but he's a piece of shit, and he did want recognition.
Yeah, totally.
So, since it was close to home, he was scouting locations again over people. Mm-hmm. And he settled on a small coffee hut called Common Ground Espresso.
Espresso.
In the middle of a parking lot on 630 East Two Door Road, right next to the old Seward Highway in Anchorage.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons he chose this place is because it stayed open later than all the other coffee shops and coffee stands. Mm-hmm. So that night he bought a police scanner and prep just to check police presence in his vicinity.
Mm-hmm. Smart.
He had a shed in his house, or outside of his house. He set up a kill hut in his shed, like Dexter style, including tarps, heaters to battle the cold, and restraints. Like he put like restraints against the wall, basically to restrict somebody. 8 p.m., he heard chatter over the scanner that something was happening around town. So that's when he decided to head towards the coffee shop.
Yep. Hey, look, everyone's busy over here. I'm going to go steal somebody over there.
18-year-old Samantha Koenig was working at the coffee stand, and this was her first month on the job. She's 18 years old. She's working alone. That's every time I see this, like, I don't know if you can watch this video on YouTube, and it's very, very scary.
Of her being abducted?
Of her being abducted. I wouldn't recommend it.
Yep. Yeah.
It's dark. You can't see a lot of shit, but
he makes her shut the light off.
Yep. And that's a big thing. So so he wasn't sure what he was going to do yet. He wasn't sure if he was just going to rob it or abduct someone. He was aware of who was even in that place and how many people were there. So he walks up, orders an Americano, and when he notices it's just an 18-year-old girl, when she turns around to make it, he takes out his gun, orders her to shut the light off, and climbs in the window. And the fact that he has her shut the light off, when they go back to check the video, they have no clue. They just know it's like a tall, white, skinny dude.
Yep. Blurs the whole thing.
So he ties her up, and she's like, hey, my dad's about to be here to pick me up, which poses a pretty big problem.
Yeah. Get out of there.
And he never uses his own car to do this kind of stuff. In the nick of time, he had to do that because all this shit's happening so fast.
Right.
Again, he told her, I'm just holding you for ransom, Brings her back to the shed. I'm not going to kill you if you don't cooperate. I mean, if you do cooperate. Brings her back to the shed. He blindfolds her. Basically, his girlfriend is like 50 feet in the living room.
And daughter. His daughter's there, too.
And his daughter. Watching TV,
Yeah. So, hold on. From my understanding is, so when I think of Alaska, I think it's a very dismal, not much going on, emptiness, right?
Yep.
My take on this area is it's pretty populated because he's talking about there's a Walmart, there's a Home Depot, there's also because he's parked at like a Home
It's
Depot,
IHOP. Yep.
an IHOP.
Yep.
Yeah, instead of parking, at the neighborhood nearby or anything else. I just thought that was interesting. And then he walked her pretty far, didn't he?
Yes. Yep.
That is insane.
Yeah, exactly. Like with cameras, especially like with a place like that, with like Lowe's and
exactly. Yeah,
and
I mean, all those cameras. I mean, all those lots have cameras in them. Like that is when I found that part out, because like I heard the story at first without like a lot more details. I was like, oh yeah, whatever. Take somebody from this random coffee shop, blah blah blah, nice and simple. But then when they start elaborating on what's around it, it's like, wow.
That's wild.
It's incredible that you did that and got away with that.
All right, we gotta stop giving this guy props now.
I know, piece of shit.
So he told Samantha they had some stuff to do around town for the ransom. Mm-hmm. So he shut the lights off, turned on the music loud. He basically said, like, shut the fuck up. If you make any noise, I have my police scanner on, and I will be back here before the cops will show up, and I will kill you. He actually went across town, broke into her boyfriend's truck, which is also crazy, and took her debit card.
And he confronted him, didn't he?
That I don't know of.
Apparently, he was there, and he said, "What are you doing?" Isreal just stood there. He didn't say anything to him, waiting for him to either come after him or whatever. He went inside, and that's when Isreal took off. Yeah, I think something like that. It was in his confession there.
Well, so this is where he makes his first mistake, because like he's grabbing a debit card to like transfer money back and forth. Like, how fucking stupid are you?
Yeah, I felt like that's the part that didn't make sense in this whole story. It's like everything else is like good and calculated, and then you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go to an ATM with cameras.
Well, every serial killer like famously slips up and does something stupid. Ted Bundy has a quote when he said something like, you forget to bring your tire iron or something like that. I forgot the exact quote, but you just get so used to it and get so blinded by either your rage or your insanity that you just forget like minute details and do something stupid. And this is definitely something stupid.
Yeah, I feel like this whole murder is stupid.
This is how if he didn't do this, there's no way. I mean, obviously there's a way he would have got caught.
Yeah. I mean, just the fact that she's in a shed, his girlfriend, his kid is right there.
Yeah.
There's just music playing in his shed. Yeah. Like, he doesn't say it's soundproofed at all. He doesn't say anything. And when he talks about the restraints, he talks about it's like a knot in a rope that he screws into the studs of the wall. So that means like there's no insulation and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's like open studs. Like, you'd be able to hear everything.
Yeah, they also said too that like his girlfriend and him had a relationship where basically like when they did their own thing, and to leave him the fuck alone. Basically, like they would do stuff together, but when he was doing his thing, stay the fuck out of my. She was probably potentially scared to even go in that shed.
Right. Yeah. Imagine who knows what she had to go through on a personal level with him.
Yeah.
Did they ever get into that at all? Did she ever come forward of abuse or anything like that?
No, they like said I think they had their own issues. The girls he was dating, I think like I said, they noticed he was like an alcoholic and noticed he was gone all the time. But I think she traveled for work all the time as well too. So it was kind of. But obviously, the reason he's taking this debit card is so he can transfer money from the ransom, which is very stupid.
Yeah. Yep.
So he comes back, he puts her on a tarp, he stabs her in the back, he rapes her, he ties a wire around her neck to kill her.
Yeah.
And then he goes inside, showers, plays with his kid, and does his daily chores.
That's insane. Insane.
So he wakes up, feeds his daughter, feeds his dogs, getting all his stuff ready for his cruise. Before he left, he wraps her in a tarp, sticks her in the shed cabinet, basically knowing the cold would stop the body from decomposing. Mm-hmm. And then he went on a cruise for 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, you don't do all that for nothing. This is the reward.
It's fucking madness, dude. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
Like, he's got a dead body in his shed, and he's on a cruise for 2 weeks. Like, what is going through your head? Like, this guy is just not wired correctly.
No, not at all.
So, and of course, the search for Samantha started the night she went missing.
Right.
But like I said, the fact that they shut the lights off, they basically had really nothing to go by. Mm-hmm. And they accused this guy, Christopher Bird, who was a white rapper known as White Tyson.
White Tyson. Nice.
Because they had gotten a heated exchange a few weeks before, but the cops were able to quickly, clear his name. His mom gave him an alibi, basically, but his name wasn't cleared from just the media for months. Like he lost his scholarship, or not scholarship. He got kicked out of barber school. He lost his like $6,000 tuition. It was just crazy. You know how it goes when people fucking take something, they just run with it. So this guy got caught in the crossfire.
What was his name again?
White Tyson.
White Tyson.
Christopher Bird.
Oh, man. That's fantastic.
So when Keyes got back from the cruise, he robbed a few banks. Again, he would set fires to houses, get the cops in that direction, and then just make the bank robberies easier. Finally got back, played with his daughter again.
Yep.
All weekend. She went to school on Monday, so we finally returned to the shed.
I better go in the shed and see how we're doing in there.
Right. The body had frozen completely, so he had to dismantle the whole cabinet.
Oh, God.
And after cleaning up all the blood, he went to work. He put the body on a table to thaw it out, and then he became a necrophiliac. So fucked up. Like, I'm not excusing necrophiliacs the day of. 10 minutes later. This is fucking like weeks later. What the fuck, man?
This is freezing and thawing and...
Now his ransom plan is coming into play.
Mm-hmm.
He's putting makeup on her, like 3 hours of makeup work to try to make her look alive.
Yeah.
Fish hooks.
Creepy.
Yeah, fish. Yeah, again, there's a picture of it online. Again, I wouldn't recommend looking it up. It's pretty fucking horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
She does not look right.
No. It just looks very off. Very, very bizarre.
Especially when you see a picture of her, she's a pretty young girl, and it's just like she looks fucking so sad. So he's using fish hooks, tape, just to help with the facial expressions. And he also takes a current newspaper and basically takes a picture of the newspaper with her face there. Writes a ransom letter and on a typewriter. He's demanding $30,000, and he's demanding it to be deposited in Samantha's bank account. He puts the pic and the note in a Ziploc bag, and he drives to Connor's Bog Dog Park. He leaves it under a missing dog poster, and then he texts the boyfriend. So he turns back the phone. He texts the boyfriend and says, "Connor Park, sign under Albert. Ain't she pretty?" Yeah. I quote. So happens.
Ain't she pretty part was odd. It was very weird to me.
The boyfriend happened to be eating lunch with the father. Wow. So that's horrible. They rushed down to the park. They were careful not to touch anything and fuck with any evidence. Obviously they call the cops, have the cops there. Even with this, the cops still have no leads. They're just kind of starting to gather some of the ransom money to see if they can, at least meet some of the demands. Of course, the body's starting to decompose, so he needs to dispose of the body.
Yeah.
So here he goes. He cuts up the body limb by limb with a utility knife.
A utility knife.
I know. It's crazy, dude.
Can't even cut a box up with a utility knife.
Yeah. So it must have took some time. Like I said, he's meticulous. So he stuffs it into 2 rolling tote bags, and then he goes fishing to dispose of the body.
Nice.
Does multiple trips, and he fishes out of the same hole he disposed the body in, which is gross because he caught fish and cooked it for his daughter and his girlfriend that night, which is disgusting.
And wasn't there's somebody else fishing there as well?
Yeah, there was somebody there fishing the first time, so that's he did this all for cover. He did a good job covering because he's acting like he's fishing.
Yeah.
So he then checked for the money, and he found out that only $5,000 was deposited, and he didn't realize that you can only withdraw a certain amount from ATMs.
Mm-hmm. It's like $500.
Yeah, and of course the cops are going to be staking out all these ATMs. But there's so many ATMs in the area.
Right.
It's like 50 ATMs. So he goes to ones that they didn't find or they weren't, stocking.
Mm-hmm.
He realized he's kind of he's not getting much money, so he's got to go to the lower 48. So he then took a trip. He got a white rental car from Avis. It's a white Ford Focus, 2012, I believe.
Oh, yeah. The finest.
Yeah, headed to the lower 48, withdraw more money. And so when he was withdrawing some of this money, this is his first slip up. The FBI was basically they couldn't see him on the camera, but they were able to see the model of the car. Basically, It was a 2012 white Ford Focus.
This is my favorite part of the story right here.
Yeah. So he got kind of an inkling that the car might be flagged. He just thought something was up.
So what happens, Greg?
So he drove to another town, into another Avis, and he wants to trade in his rental car.
Oh, hey, why don't you switch cars?
Yeah. What do they give him? They give him a Ford Focus 2012 white.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
We were so close.
He's in Texas.
How can he not at that point just be like, no, it's a Ford thing. What else you got?
Yeah, exactly.
You know? I feel like you could talk your way out of that one.
Yeah, he must have been like, okay.
I don't know. Does it have Sirius radio? Does it have the NuMetal station? All right, I'll take it.
So he's on his way to Maine for his sister's wedding, and of course his family fell into another cult, the Church of Wells.
Fall for it every time.
They're in Wells, Maine,
hanging out with Spose.
Yep, Spose. I suppose he was.
Suppose so.
So the preacher was kind of one of those preachers who would, wax poetic, use this to promote use this as his platform, basically.
Right.
And he was basically shitting all over atheists. Mm-hmm. And Keyes kind of took it as a personal attack and basically kind of made a scene, and he left.
Damn. At his sister's wedding.
At his sister's wedding. And that was his last weekend as a free man.
Ooh.
He's back in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
The Texas Highway Patrol put out a full bolo on a white Ford Focus 2012. And when he was at his hotel, he basically left his car in the open. Cops ran the plates and came back to Isreal Keyes from Anchorage, Alaska.
Missing girl from Alaska.
Yeah. I wonder why. So they were just basically kind of waiting for him to fuck up. Mm-hmm. He went like 1 mile over the speed limit. They took action, pulled him over, searched the car, found gun, money from the bank robbery, a mask, and obviously most damning, they found the debit card and phone of Samantha Koenig.
Yep, that'll do it.
And his plan was originally to go out guns blazing and kill the cops.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he wanted to kill the cops in a blaze of glory, but he could not get to his gun in time, so he basically could not. Huh. And he basically confessed pretty quick because he was trying to get into the execution chamber like ASAP. He wanted to die. He didn't want his daughter to find out about himself, and he figured the quicker that he admitted it, he would die quicker. Even though he was just numb to the justice system, he was kind of an idiot. Like, also they didn't even have
very naive to to what was going on.
Exactly. They also don't even have a death penalty in Alaska.
Right.
So he knew he had to kind of admit to other crimes around the country, but basically each crime you admit to is making it longer and longer and longer. Mm-hmm. It's taking too long. So he basically said, I'm going to take matters into my own hands. December 2nd, 2012, Isreal noosed a bed sheet around his neck, tied the other end to his left ankle, and slit his wrists.
Jeez.
With a contraband razor.
Ooh. And didn't he collect his blood too?
Yes, he was smart. He used empty milk containers and cups to catch the blood, so he didn't arouse suspicion from the guards with giant pools of blood coming out of the bottom of the cell door.
Yeah.
The poor guard who was supposed to be watching him, Lauren Jacobson, was fired. He was on his union break reading a book.
Oh man.
So, yeah, he was fired pretty quick. And he left a really long suicide slam poetry NuMetal note. Mm-hmm. It's way too long to read. It was like a 5-minute thing. It's insane. But if you want to read it, look it up. It's crazy.
Right.
So, Isreal Keyes is dead. Piece of shit.
Dead. Gone. The
same pastor who proceeded over his sister's wedding, the one who was talking shit about atheists, is the one who presided over his funeral. And all he did was talk shit about Isreal Keyes and how much of a piece of shit he was.
Oh, can you imagine that funeral? Just what do you say? What do you do?
I'm sure not many people were there.
No. Oh, just disgusting.
So that is our story of Isreal Keyes.
Oh, the man, the myth, the legend.
Some of the sources I used, read a couple books. American Predator by Maureen Callahan, and Devil in the Darkness by J.T. Hunter. I would definitely recommend American Predator over Devil in the Darkness. Okay. It was kind of a cool book from the perspective of the cops. Mm-hmm. And it was them kind of looking for leads, and it showed them where they were in the dark about all of it. So what they were thinking, where they were going is pretty interesting. I didn't want to get too deep into that. Just want to stay with the meat of the story.
Right.
I know Nate watched a lot of YouTube videos, listened to some podcasts to prepare for this one.
You know what? After listening to that last podcast one, that laugh is terrible. That's actually what made me want to go watch videos, because I'm like, all right, how really obnoxious is this guy's laugh? It wasn't as bad as the podcast version, but he does have a laugh.
Oh, for sure.
It's a weird like kind of cackle, but not quite as annoying as in the podcast.
That episode is the reason I get into podcasting and true crime.
Yeah.
Like after that
episode,
I worked for a trim team in Maine, and we would listen to all sorts of podcasts, and we listened to like the Tupac Biggie by Last podcast and a couple of their other ones. Isreal Keyes got me hooked, and then the West Memphis 3, which I definitely recommend, got me like, all right, this is it. I love these guys. These guys are fucking hilarious, and they're very informative.
Yeah.
Not that I'm plugging their podcast, because listen to our podcast, not theirs.
No, but it was good. It is good. Good. I'm new to their world, and it is good.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
There's a lot. There's so many great podcasts out there, and so many great true crime podcasts. We have a true crime podcast on our network. You Run True Crime with Heather and Scott. It's fantastic. Check it out. But anything you need to add?
So if you had to put a number on it, what would you say his real count would be?
The fact that he drew 11 skulls, I'd say it's closer to like 11 to 13, because I do think that he probably may have killed a few people that he wouldn't admit to.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's an arrogant fucking prick, and he, all the credit that he would take, he would,
Right. See, that's where I could feel like it could go both ways. It's like, do the 11 skulls, I did 11. Or do you embezzle, do you make that a bigger thing? Do you not count people? I don't know. His whole demeanor is just so out there that it's hard to tell. I think there's a lot more. I feel like the opportunities that he's had, he could do that a lot without getting
totally
caught.
And it's so random,
Yeah, more than the 4 that he got caught for. Or whatever.
Definitely more than 4. I definitely think he did more than 4.
Yeah,
he said that special needs girl. I think he definitely killed her. But again,
and that's not something you're going to want to advertise that,
exactly,
or a younger person or whatever. Yeah, there's
if you're a supposedly quotation marks big tough guy, you're not going to want to admit to killing a handicapped child.
Right.
I killed just all strong males. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. I only kill UFC fighters. That is.
I only kill 40-year-olds in the crowd, baby. That's all I do.
It's all every night.
20-year-olds kill me in the crowd. Like, oh! Don't play rap.
Ew.
Just like the GOAT.
You guys know any Bon Jovi?
Mm-hmm. We do. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. Again, check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all things podcast. You can find us on yourunpodcast.com. Definitely go and listen to all those shows. A ton of stuff to listen to. Always a podcast for somebody. And we're going to be back with some more true crime and all sorts of stuff. So stay tuned. And remember, in Crust, we trust. Thank you.